Moving on to the Eastern Conference, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Detroit Pistons tied at 2-2. Keith, I don't know how much of a Pistons fan you are, but the guy under us has been screaming Cade Cunningham since Oklahoma State. So, Toddy, I'm going to swing it to you first. The Pistons go up 2-0, and then they lose 2 games on the road. What were your thoughts on just the 4 games that we've seen so far in totality?
I kind of could say I expected this to happen because Cleveland has been undefeated in the playoffs at home. So basically, whenever they go, if they could just play every game at home, they might win every game. Donovan Mitchell, we all know, is a very a volume scorer, but he can. We all know he has the ability to turn it up whenever. I mean, a couple years in the bubble, we've seen him against the Knicks a couple of years ago. Just these 40-point playoff performances. He has a lot of them, and I think at any given point in time, he can go off for as much as he can. I thought the other story of this game was James Harden. We found him. He had a 24 and 11 this past game. I thought he was able to create easier shots for Donovan Mitchell, who albeit had 39 and a half. I don't know. There was something. I don't know what the stats are, but it's something in history.
First player in postseason history to have a 39-point half.
Hey man, that's what you want your stars to do. You want your stars to show up in big moments, especially in the playoffs. As far as the Pistons go, I think they're a team that's very, very Cade reliant. I feel like when the Cavs, the last 2 games, every single shot that the Cavs got, it seemed like it was easy. They were moving the ball around. Guys were getting open, and Donovan Mitchell has been phenomenal in these past 2 games. So it looked easier for him. As far as for Cade, it looked like he was scratching and clawing to get every single bucket possible, and it looked a lot harder for him to score it and create offense. We saw Tobias Harris in the first 2 games. It's these. The playoffs are obviously about the stars, but sometimes these role players have outer body experiences, like Tobias Harris, and we saw that just go away as soon as they hit the road. Now, it could just be the Cavs are just an unstoppable force at home, but at the same time, you needed some level of consistency when it comes to role player performances in the playoffs. And I just think when Cade doesn't play well, they don't win. And I feel like with the Cavs, I feel like if Donovan Mitchell has a so-so game, the Cavs can still lean on guys like James Harden, Evan Mobley to go out and have some type of scoring prowess. But as far as the Pistons, I feel like if Cade does not have a 27, 11, and 11 triple-double, they're in trouble. And I think that's going to get them in trouble moving forward if they were to advance in the series. Whereas I think the Cavs are maybe a better matchup for the Knicks as far as if you go player for player. And obviously they have OG Anunoby, and I know we'll talk about him and the Knicks pretty soon. But I think as far as matchup-wise goes, I think the Knicks and the Cavs match up better. Now, when you look at the regular season, as Kevin and Keith were talking about earlier, the regular season matchup and how teams looked against each other in the regular season, it was a whole different story. The Knicks had no answer for the Pistons. But I think game slows down, playoff basketball, Jalen Brunson he did last year against basically virtually the same exact team. I know there are a couple of tweaks to this Pistons team now in the offseason from last year, but we've seen Jalen Brunson go on the road and close it out in 6 games, I believe it was last year. The Pistons can win a home game, and it was one of the it was like the Pistons hadn't won a home game since however long it was until earlier this postseason, but I think if the Knicks if the Cavs are able to find a way to neutralize Cade Cunningham in game 6 coming up, I think the Pistons are going to be in trouble. And I just think they can't afford for Cade to have another bad game because they could go down 3-2 going back to Cleveland. It's damn near curtains. So I think for Cleveland, it's this game. could be the series because it could definitely swing the momentum. They've obviously tied the series already at 2-2. And I think if Donovan Mitchell can replicate the same performance that he just had in Game 5, which I think we all believe he is capable of, Cavs can win the series. But at the same time, the Pistons are the number 1 seed for a reason.
Yeah, and that reason why they're a 60-win team and they're the number 1 team for a reason, I think really had to speak for Jalen Duren. He averaged 20 points and 11 rebounds in the regular season, and his playoff stats have been horrendous. He's averaging 10 points and 8 rebounds. That is a huge drop off.
Wait, isn't he up for $200 million?
Mm-hmm. He's going to get $200 million. You know why, Keith? I see your face. For 82 games, he was an all-NBA player, all-star. He's going to get paid. But now it's like, we got 200. Your playoff numbers were cut in half. We got 175. And where that goes is going to be very interesting because I was one of the biggest fans of Jalen Duren because he turned down an extension because he wanted to bet on himself. And for him to play at that level throughout the remainder of the season, and then his stats only went better when Cade went down. So I don't understand the difference. I don't understand. They're still getting him involved. He's still taking the shots. They're just not going in. And you can see in the first round series, there were games where he'd show up, games where he didn't show up, games where he showed. And you can't be an all-NBA player, all-star, and Wendell Carter's giving you hell. Jared Allen, I get it. Wendell Carter can't give you hell. And they were down in that series 3-1. And in the closeout game, he had the best game of his series. So if they can get that Jalen Duren, the Game 7 Jalen Duren, and 82 games Jalen Duren, this is going to be one of the best teams in the East. But when you have to rely on a guy like Tobias Harris to go out there every night and give you 20, a Karis LeVert to give you 23 and you still lose, I think the Cavs have taken all the shots that the Pistons can get. So I think this is signed, sealed, to deliver. I don't think the Pistons stand a chance. And I think the Cavs will go off and win 4 in a row. So, Keith, what are your thoughts on the overall series? Cavaliers, Detroit Pistons tied 2-2.
I think whoever wins Game 5 is going to win the series. And it's a very important Game 5 for a lot of reasons. Detroit is in this series primarily because Orlando folded up like 20-plus points. We would not be having the Pistons convo right now that we are having if the Magic could have hit a shot in the last 20 minutes on that Friday night. But we're here. I want to go off a couple things that Toddy talked about. I fully am 100% on they need Cade to play out of his mind or they're going to run the risk of losing train with the Pistons. Every game that we've seen in the playoffs that Cade has taken over, they've either won or come pretty darn close. Game 3 was the best shot they had to win that one. Why was it? Because Cade gave him like 25 plus, 10 plus, 10 plus. So if Cade doesn't perform up to an MVP caliber type of performance, they're behind the 8 ball. You go to the Duren situation. Yeah, all NBA, 20 plus a game in the regular season. I get that. But what you find out in the NBA playoffs, it's kind of like Major League Baseball. You could have a 20-game win pitcher with a 100-mile-per-hour fastball. But if I've seen that fastball 5 times in the regular season, another 4 times maybe in the postseason, I can time that fastball. Then it becomes, okay, you have the fastball, show me the curveball. And we find out the curveball is junk. Well, we're finding out about Jalen Duren, the offensive game is just limited. He's a rim runner who made his bones off of rebounds and lobs from Cade and put back dunks. He has a limited post game. Defensively, if you're able to get the first step on him in the post, it can be barbecue chicken. So, yeah, $200 million, it just has not been a great postseason for him because he's gone up against people arguably like Wendell Carter Jr., who Kev pointed out, yeah, from a talent standpoint, maybe better than physically, but the bag and the footwork for Carter Jr. and the jump shot showed kind of like those deficiencies. And then you go up against a guy like Evan Mobley, and Mobley, maybe he hasn't put it all together. The ceiling hasn't matched where the potential is just yet. But still, he's no joke either. And my biggest fear is, okay, if you beat Cleveland, what's going to happen when you go up against Cat? What's going to happen when you go up against Mitchell Robinson? You see where I'm going with this? So I really feel like the Cavaliers, for as bad as the Pistons have been flipping the switch on and off, are in that same boat. I don't know which Donovan Mitchell I'm going to get at times. I definitely don't know which James Harden I'm going to get at times. That has a proven track record right there. Shout out Shaun Hoko. But you know, the one thing about Donovan that we have seen for the last 5 or 6 years is he could have a really bad night, and then in a blink of an eye, he's giving you 39 in the second half. He's giving you 60 in the bubble. He has these offensive spurts where it's like you could double team him. You could do a box and one. You could try to push him, get him off his rocker. If he's feeling it offensively, all you can do is hope that he passes the ball out of a double team or something like that. And I agree with Toddy. The Cavs have so many layers of guys that can score on any given night. How did the Cavs end the situation in the first round? They had a monster game from Jared Allen. Nobody saw that coming, right? So there's Allen, there's Mobley. They've got Harden, who, listen, I've been on record. He's at the end of the road, but he can still give you quality points. It's going to be really interesting to see the type of energy Cleveland comes out with in Game 5. Because I really do feel like if Cleveland comes out in Game 5 from the standpoint of we're going to blitz them, if they're getting the turnovers they've been getting the last couple of games, and they get out to like a 10 or 12-point lead, I really feel like they can slam the door shut on Detroit momentum-wise, but they've got to take them out early in Game 5. But I really do feel like whoever wins Game 5 probably wins the series, and there might be more pressure on Cleveland, I might say, to win Game 5 because they know about James Harden's shortcomings. They know about the shortcomings Donovan Mitchell has faced. You win Game 5, you go back to Cleveland in Game 6 with a chance to shut that out. I mean, it's going to be pretty hard, but I've picked Cleveland to win the next 2. I hate to say it, Shaun Hoko, but the Detroit Pistons NBA championship hopes, I think they stop here.
Toddy, did you give us your official pick for the rest of the series?
No, I was actually pulling up the odds because, I am a gambler and I like to gamble on the show. They are giving the Cavs 3.5 points. So, I mean, it's not like when they were going up against the Magic, they were a 10 double-digit favorites, 10-point favorites. So, I mean, Vegas is trying to tell you that the Cavs got a little bit of a shot. You know me, I like to roll that dice. So, I think I might be taking the Cavs to win the series.
Okay, yeah. And so I'm gonna just give you guys a little bit of insight. The Cavs are going to win Game 4 or Game 5, and then Game 6, it's gonna have a little bit of different energy in their arena. You know why? The King is gonna come back, and they're gonna win in 6, and everyone's gonna lose their fucking minds.
The King will pull Dylan Brooks.
Nah, fuck Dylan Brooks.
The King pulling a Dylan
Brooks. I need the Cavs to win, and then I need them to get absolutely embarrassed by the Knicks. Because I need them to say, are we just a LeBron James away? Mike has been dropped, and we will be moving on.
By the way, keep in mind, Detroit's going to have to look at this offseason going forward. They're going to need another scorer. They're going to go in the open market. And they're going to need another scorer. Take Zach LaVine, please.
A Devin Booker, a Giannis Antetokounmpo. There's
please
a lot of
Giannis. Giannis would ruin this team.
I mean, you have to get rid of Duran. You can't play both. But it would be interesting, man. Cade needs help. Just like Uncle Manny said, Cade definitely needs help. We just talked about this with the Thunder, or not the Thunder, the Timberwolves. Having one guy, if you only have one guy, if he doesn't come play, it's gonna be a long game.